to Generally Divided, a YouTube podcast where two different generations talk about pop culture, movies, video games, pretty much every genre. And we are here today talking about MoonKnight, episode 2. So, do you want to open up? What do you think about MoonKnight?
What do I think about MoonKnight? Well, I could go on, but I will just sum it up by one word: phenomenal. Okay, end of episode. I'm done. See you later. No, MoonKnight is just growing. It's building. It's leading us somewhere. It's storytelling. It's just, I can't speak loudly enough about this. I feel like I'm yelling at you about it. Go watch it. No, it's just great. Everything about it is great. Oscar Isaac is great. Ethan Hawke. We learn more about Arthur Harrow in this episode and his plans, what he's trying to do with Amit and reviving or resurrecting her, and what he envisions for the world. And it's just a great episode. What were your initial reaction thoughts to it?
For the second episode, specifically, I thought it was really, it opened my eyes to what the story was. Because the first episode, it was amazing, but it left me with a lot of questions. And I feel episode 2 really came to answer all those questions we had, of why Steven is waking up like he is, who Mark Spector is, and basically the Avatar and how everything is seemingly working against Steven. Because he's not really in the loop. He's out of the loop. And this
at
is
the beginning of the episode, yes. He's out of loop.
Yeah, now he's coming into it. He's actually starting
progressing. Yeah.
Yeah, which I liked. I liked his little jokes, his funny personality. I really feel that matched Steven's character. He didn't all of a sudden become super confident. He was just learning as he goes along and realizing, hey, I'm super strong, or hey, I can fall.
which is cool, because you could really see the difference between Mark Spector and Stephen Grant, Stephen with the V, Grant, of how their personalities, even though it's the same person, are completely different. And I'm sure for those people who do suffer through some the DID or dissociative identity disorder, must really relate to that, because I don't know how prevalent it is in society, but I'm sure there are people who have it, as it's a known fact. And it's just, must be how it really is, where you wake up and you have no idea where you're at. But as he's learning and as he's putting together the sleuth work, and detective work to figure out what's going on with his life, even though he's living it, it's just, yeah, he doesn't become, like you said, all of a sudden super confident. He's still the same guy. He's just learning more about who his other is. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and I really like that this episode, it didn't just have two people talking to each other, like the first one. It was an actual connection. They're actually seeing through each other's eyes, where towards the end of the episode, now Steven's on the other side looking in.
Yeah.
And he's like, so this... it really just deepens that connection, their bond, and it lets us see through the eyes of Steven. Once again, he can see these creatures, he can see these beasts and powerful jackals, and no one else who's normal can see them. And I mean, they can see that he's doing something.
I really liked how they did that in the show, where him and Arthur Harrow were the only two who were able to see the jackal. And so you see him fighting and being lifted up and stuff being banged around, but no one else can see it. And I thought that was really cool how they portrayed that in the show. I really liked when Stephen Grant was able to, when he realized he was able to summon the suit. And what I mean by that is the MoonKnight suit. Now, of course, his version is a little bit different than Mark Spector's version of the suit. And he brings in the personality of Mr. Knight, who is just, if you're reading the most recent run of MoonKnight in the comic books, this is the main character, Mr. Knight. And it's just fantastic. Now, I know you're frozen, so I'm just going to keep talking. So it's just a fantastic use of the character, and they make some fun jokes about it. So the saying was, Mr. Knight, when Stephen Grant summons the suit and he comes out as Mr. Knight. and how in the current comic book run of Moon Knight, Mr. Knight is the main character. So I really was thrilled when I got to see that finally in the live action show. And Mr. Knight, as you know, has the full white mask. He's wearing the sleek, all white on white suit. And I think Mark Spector cracks a joke at him. Yeah, not Psycho Colonel Sanders. And I was just laughing. I had to pause it. I was laughing so much because if you know who Colonel Sanders is, famously of Kentucky Fried Chicken, you know he wears an all white suit. And I was just laughing so much.
I really like the differences in the weapon choices that Mr. Knight has as opposed to Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
They had like these batons instead of what Moon Knight pulls out of his chest, these moon crescent blades, which is really cool. And their use of their powers and their abilities is way different.
Yeah.
It really shows. I really like that. That was one's joking while he's fighting and the other one's just super dead on serious, catching
like a
blades
butterfly. Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad that they kept separate personalities when they donned the suit and became the Fist of Khonshu. I think that's how they pronounced it in the show. I always pronounce it Kenoshu. Maybe it's Khonshu. I don't know what the correct one is, but whatever. It's really good. It's really great. I like that we learn more about what Mark Spector's life is like when he's not Stephen Grant. So I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah, he leads on like a mercenary life, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what he is in the comic book, a mercenary. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the comic I read, it was like very short. It wasn't a full on. So I didn't get a full taste of Moon Knight as a character himself. Mm-hmm. So it was very hard to piece together what I'd seen to the show. So it's like,
yeah, the comic book is great. It's great. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. And give me your final thoughts on Moon Knight. And then I'll give you my final thoughts and kind of maybe a little bit of a tease for next episode.
Well, for me, my final thoughts would have to be that I can see this is shaping up to be a great, amazing TV show. And they're going to have probably a lot just to add from the comics. I feel they're going to really pull as much as they can to make this just a magnificent TV show. I mean, the graphics are great. The story quality is great. And just the shots, the picture, the cinematography that they have going on is amazing. So yeah, I love what they're doing right now.
I agree. It is very highly cinematic for a TV show, but then again, it's Marvel. So you kind of expected that in a way. So it's great. I do like the trajectory of where they're going with the show. I wonder if they're going to bring in more elements from the comic book, maybe bring in Mark Spector, Stephen Grant's third personality of Jake Longley, who's like this tough, in the street guy. He's the one in the comic book that has his ear to the ground to find out where all the crime is at. So Moon Knight can go fight off the crime. So I'm wondering, he's like a cab driver. So I'm wondering if they're going to bring him in. I think it would be really cool if they do. If not, season 2. But there's one thing that I've noticed that is really cool. And I'm just going to touch on this a little bit because I really want to talk about it next episode, are the hidden Easter eggs that are in Moon Knight. Now, have you heard or seen any of those?
I haven't had time to look thoroughly through the episode, so I haven't been able to catch any myself. It's kind of just seeing whatever I can. Okay. But no, not yet.
Okay, cool. Well, for next episode, everyone out there, and if you want to, go ahead and spoil it in our comments. Let us know what Easter eggs you found already in Moon Knight. But I will just say this. Look for the QR codes in the show. That's all I'm going to say about Moon Knight for this Easter eggs for this episode. Tune in next episode when we're going to cover all sorts of Easter eggs and their place in pop culture and within movie references, video games. So it's going to be a great dive into Easter eggs, and I'm really looking forward to that. So, like I said, tell us in the comments what you found Easter eggs so far in Moon Knight. That'd be fine. Or let us know what your favorite part of Moon Knight is. Is it Mr. Knight? Is it Moon Knight? Is it Arthur Harrow? Is it Layla? Is it whatnot? And like I said, if you've had a chance to see the QR codes, don't spoil it for everyone, but just give us a thumbs up or what you thought of what happened when you found the QR codes. So until next time then, everyone, we will see you and talk to you later. And thanks for tuning in.